If you're heading to Alaska on a cruise this year, there's nothing better. But packing for the last frontier is a whole different ballgame than your typical tropical getaway. This updated video reveals the 20 essential items you absolutely need for your Alaskan adventure, along with 3 packing mistakes to avoid. We're talking everything from the right layers to combat unpredictable weather, what people really wear at night, and to dinners on their Alaska cruise, and some must-have gear for wildlife viewing. We'll also cover those often overlooked stateroom essentials that will make your trip more comfortable without taking up too much space in your suitcase. Plus, we'll share some insider tips on why each of these items is so crucial for an Alaskan cruise. And as a bonus, you can grab our free downloadable packing list at the end of the video so you can easily check everything off. Are you new here? Welcome! I'm Sherry with Cruise Tips TV, and we're so excited you're here so we can help you plan your perfect Alaska cruise. We've got tons of Alaska cruise videos, you guys, port guides, and Alaska resources linked below, along with our Amazon store where you can shop for all of your cruise essentials, whether they be for Alaska or something else. So let's get you packed and ready for your unforgettable Alaskan experience. You're gonna have so much fun, and we can't wait to get into this. So you've probably heard about layers. Layers are super important when you're cruising to Alaska because some days it might be super chilly and other days it can be sunny and as high as something like 80 degrees in Alaska. Who knew, right? So we're going to talk about jackets and outerwear first. So let's turn around and show you some of the options. Basically, there's 3 different types of jackets and outerwear that people pack for Alaska. The most typical one is some kind of a rain layer. Rain layers are great because you never know when it can be drizzle, and they also offer you just a little bit of warmth. So we've got all kinds of rain layers that we like. I like these longer styles because they give me a little bit of coverage on my backside in case I have to sit down on a bench and wait for an excursion or something. It's really nice. But it's also really great to get the regular short ones. And I feel that mostly for guys, the gentlemen are usually going to go with a rain layer like this. Sometimes they have hoods that are concealed in the back of the jacket like this one. Sometimes the hood is detachable. Sometimes they're built in. But just make sure that you get yourself some sort of a rain layer and you should be okay. Another type of outerwear that's really popular for people in Alaska are puffer jackets. I have a nice long puffer that I love like this. I also have one in black. They're kind of insulated, they're warm, and they're really good for those days when it's not actually raining outside and you don't have to worry about water. We love these packable warm layers too. In our channel, we call them packable puffers or packable puffies. This is my husband's packable one, and he wears this on days like when you're at a glacier or something like that, and it's going to be super cold. It's like the coldest day of the cruise, but it's not raining. So you're going to want that rain layer and then a warm layer. Now, if you run really super cold, and some people do, some people are like, look, I just want a super warm, like parka type jacket. There's also some great options on Amazon. I bought this one from Columbia. As you can see, it's super heavyweight. It's almost like something you'd wear skiing, like snow skiing. It has a furry hood, some fleece lining, and way more insulation. But for some people, a jacket like that might be overkill. So if you focus simply on the rain layer and the warm puffer type jacket, you're probably going to be okay. Now, if you're cruising really early season, like April or October, you might want to get a warmer layer. So let's talk about what goes underneath the jackets, because I think this is confusing for people. You're basically going to want to take things like t-shirts, sweatshirts, jeans, and hoodies. And those are the things you're going to wear by day underneath these, right? And then you're going to also want to take that outerwear that goes on top. Now, one of the newest things I learned about is merino wool t-shirts. Merino wool t-shirts are really super, what's the best word? They're insulating, they're easy to wash, and they're better than cotton. So of course, I'll link to some of those. Now, here's a huge mistake that I want you to avoid. If you are packing all those layers, one thing that a lot of cruisers do, and they tell me about after their cruise, is they forget to pack enough of the basics. Mostly, they forget to pack enough things like t-shirts and stuff to wear underneath the warmer layers. So my rule of thumb is pack 1 to 1.5 t-shirts per day, especially if you can't do laundry because you're probably going to need it. The number 2 mistake that people make when cruising to Alaska is they forget to pack something for the weather when it gets summer-like. You're probably cruising to Alaska in the summer. You guys, it can get up to 80, 85 degrees sometimes. So here's what you want to do. You might want to take a pair of shorts, or if you prefer like a dress, a sundress might be good too. You may never wear the shorts. You may never wear the sundress, but you're going to be so glad that you do have it. And of course, don't forget to pack a swimsuit for those hot tub days, because hot tubbing in Alaska is amazing. Optional things to pack, you might want to consider packing a robe. That can be really nice. And we definitely recommend a pair of travel slippers. These are super flat and easy to pack, and I absolutely love these. Now we're going to talk more about shoes and pants and accessories a little bit later, but I want to start by talking about what you should pack all of your stuff in, right? So we want to start with luggage and things like that. But the first thing you're probably going to want to consider is a compression packing cube. Compression packing cubes are so nice because they allow you to shrink down the items in your luggage without overpacking. And they make some really great lightweight ones that, of course, you can buy on Amazon that are awesome. But with all that bulky clothing, the right luggage is super important. So we always look for a suitcase with sturdy wheels and solid reviews from other customers. When you're reading those reviews, look for reviews that talk about the wheels and how easily it rolls. Now, most people usually check their bags, right, when you're going on a flight to Alaska, because you're packing a lot of stuff. So you're probably going to want to buy a 24 or a 28-inch suitcase. That usually makes the most sense. And I have linked to some of my favorites down in the video description. Now, the right carry-on for your flight is also super important. Not every airline handles carry-on baggage restrictions the same, so we found a bag that works well with most under-seat baggage policies and keeps your essentials within reach on your flight. I had been seeing this bag everywhere in social media, and I was so excited when Nomad Lane offered to send it to us. So we today are showing you the V4 Bento personal item bag. Nomad Lane was genius in the way that they designed this, you guys. It opens up like a suitcase, which makes it really easy to pack, and it has all these clever features. First, there's this little external water bottle pocket so you can keep your hydration nearby. A small water bottle fits just fine in there. Now, it also has a padded laptop or a tablet compartment if you need it. If you have to take your laptop with you on your Alaska cruise like we do, this is going to be really nice. The trolley sleeve that this has can also convert to a pocket for extra storage if you're not using it. So if you're not putting this over the handle of your suitcase, you can just put some snacks or passports or things like that in there. It also comes with a little tech organizer bag and a toiletry pouch and a shoulder strap. This bag is so, so cool, and you will not believe how much it holds and how organized you're going to feel when you pack with it. I got it in this pretty pine green color because it reminds me of Alaska, but there's lots more colors to choose from, like black and blue and kind of a pretty off-white color. You're going to see that this one is linked through the YouTube shopping platform down below as a tagged product right on this video, so it's going to be really easy to find it. So let's get back to those clothing and layers. Where we left off is we're going to talk about water-resistant shoes and shoes. A lot of people think they need to pack like these clunky hiking boots for Alaska, but that couldn't be farther from the truth. What I recommend to people is usually that you just find some kind of a hybrid shoe, like a waterproof hiking sneaker or shoe, or a lightweight waterproof hiking boot, but it doesn't need to be a full-on hiking boot unless you're going trekking or doing some major hiking. Just making sure that you can keep the water off your shoes when you go through puddles is going to be really critical. I really like Columbia. I also like Sperry. Those are some great brands. But if you have a sneaker that's water resistant, that actually works out just great too. And then of course for around the ship, you're probably just going to be wearing those sneakers as well. And you can take some flip-flops, wedges, things like that. That's always good. Don't forget to purchase moisture wicking socks. This is one of the major mistakes that people make, is that they take just normal cotton socks, but you want to find something that's actually specializing in moisture wicking. And that's in case you go on like a kayaking tour or a rafting tour and you get a little bit wet. You want those socks to pull the water away from your feet, and that's really key. So how about pants? Because pants are kind of part of a layer too, right? Most people wear jeans and leggings and joggers and things like that around the ship by day. If you're going on a hardcore excursion, you might want some water resistant pants if it's going to get really, really cold, but you don't have to have that. If you're going on an active excursion like a hike, most tour guides are going to recommend to you like a non-cotton activewear pant. Again, just like those socks, it's going to whisk the water away from your body. So cotton isn't always better for Alaska. So what do people really wear at night on a cruise to Alaska? Well, it's usually a lot less fancy up there, you guys. If you're gonna wear warmer things at night, and honestly, when I go to dinner, I usually find that people are wearing the same thing they wore during the day. A lot of times they're gonna show up to dinner in a jeans kind of outfit with a sweater. They're not really gonna wear anything too, dressy unless it's formal night, which is usually where you're gonna see the exception. So it's different up there. It's not all about sundresses and sandals. But one thing I would recommend is packing some kind of a shawl or a wrap. These are always really, really nice to have in the evening time. You can just wrap them around your shoulders if you get cold. But honestly, you're gonna see sweaters and jeans, slacks, things like that to dinner, sometimes long sleeve dresses and stuff like that. All right, let's talk about some gadgets and gear. First of all, we love packing a charging hub on any cruise we go with. And as of right now, as of February 2025, every cruise line that I know of is still allowing this, even Royal Caribbean, so you should be okay. This is going to allow you to charge USB stuff, USB-C stuff, both of them. This is really handy. I also recommend taking some kind of a portable charger with you. I like this one with the built-in cables. I find that it's just nice to have every kind of cable with me in case my camera or my phone runs a little bit dead on an excursion. I've got a nice backup. It's also great to pack with you some kind of a pop-up laundry hamper because for some reason when we're cruising in Alaska, we go through the clothing really fast and you want a place to put all of this and either pack to take home with you or maybe not. Maybe you're going to send your laundry off if your cruise ship offers that. Another really fun thing that we discovered this last year, I've never actually featured these in a video before, are these hand warmers. It's really cold where I live today, so I actually wish I had these turned on. But you can slip these into your pockets when you're out on your glacier day, and they just help to keep your hands so warm, and they're rechargeable. So don't forget to pack the little cable. If you prefer, there's some disposable ones. These are really cool too. You just slip them out of the pouch and get your hands nice and warm. They're so great. Another thing you gotta pack for Alaska, this is just an absolute non-negotiable, is some kind of a pair of binoculars. Some people like the travel size. If you really are serious about your binocular viewing, like if you're the kind of person who has a camera with a big old fancy lens, you might want a full-size set of binoculars. Some people do pack full-size ones, but I'm gonna link to my favorite compact ones down below. Of course, you need some kind of a camera. For us, it's usually our phone, a GoPro, maybe sometimes we'll take a fancy lens, but important to take plenty of chargers. And hot tip, if you are cruising with a big fancy camera, make sure that you take lots and lots of SD or memory cards, because more and more we're seeing people have to go to the camera shop on the cruise ship if they forget to pack enough memory cards for their cameras, and you definitely don't want to be stuck in that situation. Don't make that mistake. Another thing that's awesome to take with you to Alaska is a baseball hat. A lot of people don't use umbrellas up in Alaska. Instead, they're just going to wear a rain layer like this. They're going to put the hood on, and then having a baseball cap over the top, or underneath the hood actually, is going to make it a little bit easier when it's raining to keep that rain off of your face. But that's perfectly acceptable instead of an umbrella. And also, don't forget those scarves that we talked about earlier. And optional, you might want to take a pair of gloves. I like the type that have the device sensitivity on them so that you can still launch your camera on that glacier day when you've got a glacier about to calve and you're fumbling for your phone, but you have gloves on and you can't swipe up to get to your camera. You want to make sure you get those special device gloves. They're not expensive. Now, a little tip about your accessories, your hats, your scarves, your gloves, even your jackets. Make sure you go with a single neutral color if you can to make matching stuff a little bit easier. So earlier we talked about suitcases and carry-on bags, but then there's a few other types of bags you might want to consider for your Alaska cruise. So in addition to your carry-on bag and the suitcase, you might want to go with like a little purse to take around the ship with you for dinners. Sometimes people will pack kind of a glam purse. The ladies will take like a nice glam purse for the dinners. But really, during the day, you're going to want some kind of a packable, water-resistant Backpack, a lightweight one for excursions to slip a couple of layers, a bottle of water, charger, sunglasses, shore excursion tickets, passports, all that stuff needs a place. So these can come in really super handy. Now for your stateroom, you might want to try some magnetic hooks for keeping things off of the countertops. Magnetic clips are super nice as well, and you can use those magnetic clips for putting like your shore excursion tickets up on the wall, stuff like that. I think I have a couple of the hooks right here. In fact, yeah, here's those hooks. These are so handy for putting on your walls, and they're going to help you keep things really super organized. It's also smart to take some motion sickness options. In all honesty, you're probably not going to need them. Usually cruising the inside passage is really chill, but I really like this boning, and I have linked to my favorite formulation of it. The non-drowsy extra strength is really good, you guys. Chef's kiss, amazing. This has helped me out on things like bus rides too. It's not always about the ship. Sometimes it can be your excursion that might make you a little bit woozy, or a boat ride, right? It's not the cruise ship, it's the boat you go sea fishing on for the day that makes you feel seasick, so make sure you take some of that. Sunscreen is also good to have in small quantities. You probably don't need much, but the sun can get kind of bright up in Alaska. And bug spray if you're going to be going somewhere where it's buggy. If you're going on any kind of a bear walk, trust me, you need bug spray, or along the streams, if you're going fishing, things like that, you're going to need it. Water-resistant luggage tag covers are great too because it can be kind of drizzly in your embarkation port of Seattle, Vancouver, and you want to protect those luggage tags. So we've got every single cruise line's type of luggage tag linked down below. Sunglasses are good to have too. Again, it can get really bright in Alaska. If you're going on any kind of a glacier trek or a helicopter ride, you really need those sunglasses. Now for toiletries, we're going to go ahead and just link to our full toiletry packing guide down below to get you started. But a couple things to make sure that you remember: make sure that you get that medication and first aid kit with you. If you get a cold or you have an upset tummy or a headache, think about those basic things that can happen to you and pack those basics in a little tiny bag. That way, if you can't get to them fast enough, right? If you can't get to a store, or you find that they're really super expensive in the gift shop, you'll have a little supply. Another mistake, I guess I could say, that I made last year in Alaska, and this is something I've never mentioned in a video before, is not packing body lotion. The air up in Alaska can be really dry when it gets cold, and your skin can react differently than it may in other areas of the world. So I recommend taking a body lotion or a body oil. All right, friends, that is it for our ultimate Alaska cruise packing guide for this year. I hope you found some new and unique tips this year. If you found this helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, and please subscribe to the channel for more travel hacks and adventures and packing advice. We'd really like to have you on board. Now, as promised, you're going to head over to the link in the description box to download your free Alaska cruise packing list. Everything is down there, and also, you guys, it's pinned to the top of the comments. I've also put our Alaska do's and don'ts guide in there, so you can check out all those essentials and avoid any last minute packing panic. And of course, don't forget to check out the Nomad Lane Bento bag, which is linked right on the video. Safe Alaska travels, happy exploring, friends. Let us know how your trip went, and until next time, we'll see you on the high seas. Bye-bye.